yeah. Here we go. From the fine folks at Rareware, Brian E, aka Mr. Grimm's 87. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to GoldenEye. GoldenEye 007, to be exact, released in 1997 on the N64. Funnily enough, it was released 2 years after the film hit theaters, but that's because of the design, because of the lengthy development that this game had. Quite an eventful development as well. I'll get into that as we go. Anyways, this is based off of that 1995 film, which was this guy here, Pierce Brosnan, his first foray as James Bond. He would do 3 more films before handing the reins off to Daniel Craig for his debut, Casino Royale. Anyway, this game revolves around the movie, and the movie features James Bond as he goes up after a terrorist organization who are set on using a space-based weapon to attack on London and potentially put that entire region under economic turmoil. But again, I'll get into that as we go. So we start off with the dam, which this is part of the prologue of the film. It takes place 9 years before the main events of the film. This game also features 3 different difficulties, Agent being the easiest, Double Agent being the hardest. There's also a secret a 007 mode if you beat the game on Double Agent, where you get to change the difficulty of the game, where the harder the difficulty, the more damage enemies can do, the more damage it takes before they die, stuff like that. I'll take Secret Agent. I'm usually good on that. And each mission has a series of objectives. This one has me neutralizing all the alarms and then bungee jumping from the platform. If you do it on the easiest difficulty, depending on the difficulty, it changes what objectives you have. This one, if you do Agent, all I gotta do is just get to the end of the level. But let's get this party started. So like I said, quite an eventful development for this game. Development started around the same time the film was getting geared up for release in theaters. Always love this opening scene there. Camera pans across the stage, and away we go. So anyway, the game was originally developed as a 2D side-scroller for the Super Nintendo. By that time, Rare had already hit it big with the Donkey Kong Country series. They'd released the first game in '94, and then the series would continue with 2 sequels on the Super Nintendo and what have you. This game was originally developed as a 2D side-scroller. Would eventually get moved over to the upcoming Nintendo 64. At the time, was still being called Ultra 64. That title would change because game company Konami had a copyright on the term Ultra Games, because that was their development arm or publishing arm back in the days of the original NES. It helped them bypass Nintendo's strict licensing regulations, saying that a developer can only release certain games, a certain number of games every year, so releasing it under another name allowed them to bypass that. Okay, that's getting sidetracked. Anyway, when it got moved over to the N64, they decided to make it into a 3D game, utilizing the N64's ability to render 3D polygons and things like that. So it became an on-rails shooter, similar to games like Virtua Cop in the arcades and Sega Saturn, what have you. But then it would again get delayed and reimagined as what it is now, a 3D first-person shooter, reminiscent of games like Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, things like that. Duke Nukem 3D, yeah. And would utilize a full 3D world. Gotta get this guy because he's gonna hit the alarm. I'm the one who hits the alarm. And I hit it like this. Yeah, got too close. It's alright. Yeah. But yeah, there's so much trivia that I've learned about this game over the years, mostly from videos on YouTube. Most notably, videos from the channels like Did You Know Gaming has had videos on GoldenEye. Slope's Game Room, you know, Daniel Libertson, DJ Slope, also did a complete history of GoldenEye and covered a lot of the ground there. Now, this little computer terminal here is part of one of the objectives for double agent mode. See, we get, as part of our loadout, we get this covert modem, which we're supposed to take and throw at this. But we didn't have to do that for this, just for if you're doing it on the harder difficulty. And break that. I said break that. There we go. So yeah, the game spent nearly 2 years in development, and most notably, the multiplayer function, which this game is so famous for, was an afterthought. It wasn't even considered to be part of it. But once they were about halfway through development, they decided to toss it in, and you know, the development of the multiplayer ended up going to almost the 11th hour. I think like a few weeks before the game was set for release, they were still, you know, putting the finishing touches on it. And another bit of trivia about this game is that publisher Nintendo actually stopped funding the game. They stopped, you know, cutting checks to the developers. So Rare continued to pay out of pocket for the remainder of the series development. So good on Rare to stick with it, because they I'm pretty sure they knew what they had. Just like this level has this little thing. A little island out there. It's believed that there was originally supposed to be part of the mission where they would, where Bond would travel by speedboat over there and complete an objective or what have you, but that never got implemented. There are Game Shark codes that will allow you to go there, but there's really nothing there. No enemies, no threats, and you see like a gun emplacement, but no guns try to kill you. But that's just, you know, part of what may have been left on the cutting room floor. This. I think I forgot one. Probably back here. But yeah, the game was released in 1997. Multiplayer became one of the most popular aspects of the game, and as a result, this ended up being one of the best sellers for the Nintendo 64 in the year of its release, and even years after. 1998, it ended up being a big seller. Ended up becoming part of the Nintendo's Player's Choice lineup later in the decade. Alright, and there we go. We got the famous scene of Bond jumping off the dam, where he enters the facility at the bottom and proceeds with his mission. This is how you know you completed all the objectives of the mission, when it plays the end animation, like the end scene of Bond going into or coming out of wherever he was. Yeah, what have you. Okay, that takes care of that mission. Target time was 2 minutes 40 seconds. Jeez. Okay, so there's our objectives for this one. Now we're inside the facility, where the prologue continues. We meet up with 006, Alec Trevelyan, played by Sean Bean in the film, who we also know as Boromir from the first Lord of the Rings movie. Alright, so we get this scene. And, come on. Trying to nail him from the top here, but looks like his position makes it very difficult. Beg your pardon? I forgot to knock. Take his gun. Like this. Now there's another guy in here. He doesn't even know I'm here yet. And he's gone. Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. That. chance. Is there still somebody else roaming about? I think that might be it for this area. Yeah. Let's go in. I think that's it. So, yeah. So another thing about the multiplayer, or at least something that had to do with it, is originally developers wanted to include the likenesses of the other Bonds, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Timothy Dalton. They would have left out George Lazenby, as he was only Bond for one film, and that was On Her Majesty's Secret Service back in 1969, I believe. Anyway, the idea of having multiple Bonds would have been integral for not only the multiplayer of this game, but also how when you beat the game, you unlock 2 secret missions. The Aztec Complex, which is reminiscent of the game Moonraker, or at least having to do with it, and then also an Egyptian temple, which would include the character of Baron Samedi, and the Aztec mission would feature Jaws, the henchman for Blofeld, and it would have featured those classic Bonds to be in there, but they would end up getting told they couldn't include them for copyright reasons, and they couldn't get the rights to likenesses, so they ended up having to take them out. Before they were taken out, though, the developers held this massive 4-player contest, which would have all 4 of the Bonds, Moore, Connery, Dalton, and Brosnan, up against each other in a match. First to 100 points wins, and the winner was the one who played as Roger Moore. So there's your official ruling. Roger Moore is King of the Bonds. Well, not really, but that's still in the court of public opinion, though. Alright, enough of that. There's so much trivia about this game, about like the development of it and features that could have been put in, or things like that. One of the other main features was something that would have utilized the Rumble Pack. In that not only would the Rumble Pack be used for its primary function as being a peripheral that would allow for vibrations, like while you're shooting or being shot at, or what have you, but an early design idea, an early concept would have featured the Rumble Pack being used to reload your gun. The player would take the Rumble Pack out and then slap it back in to mimic the motion of emptying a clip out of a gun and reloading it. This idea was scrapped, most likely because of the fact that you would be taking out and reinserting the Rumble Pack multiple times during the playthrough, and it would have been, more cumbersome. Wouldn't necessarily add to the immersion as it would break away from it, and also it could cause long-term damage to, it would potentially cause damage to that slot in the back of the controller. So, the idea was scrapped. Still fun to think of, though. Yep, there he is. There's our double agent, Dr. Doak, based off of David Doak, who is a programmer for Rare. In fact, all the faces in this game are actually faces of most of the staff. So, little fun tidbit there. Okay, get out of the way. Thank you. Music definitely very immersive. Some excellent work by Grant Kirkhope, the legendary Grant Kirkhope, who also would work on games like Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Ukulele later on, and then it would also have a hand in a lot of other Rare games, and even games for Microsoft after they bought Rare. Oh crap! I keep getting sidetracked. I'm talking. I'm supposed to get the door decoder. Ah well. I don't need all the mines anyway. Go. And now we meet up with 006. We're in England, James. We're in England, Doug. And also, depending on how much trouble you had getting to here, he'll say either it was too easy, just like he does in the movie, or he'd say, like here he said it was a bit tricky, and the other one would be like, he almost died then. Half of everything is luck, the other half, fate. It's just a part of the movie where Colonel Ormov, before he becomes general, sends in his troops in there, and Alec dies. Or does he? That becomes part of the plot later. So in the movie, you set the timers, and you set the bombs. In the movie, there's a timer. Originally supposed to be 6 minutes. Bond changes it to 3. Finish the job, James. Blow them all to hell. So here it's just remote bombs. I press this button, they blow up. If I press it now, I die. So I just wait. Or you could just run off now. But this is where you see him get shot. And you blow up the bombs. This is where you escape. There we go. Alright, that takes care of that. 8 minutes. Okay, so this one is in the movie. Bond escapes facility, heads down the runway, catches a plane as it's going off the cliff, and flies out of here. Here, obviously, you can't necessarily do that kind of cool move, so instead, you just find the key for the ignition of the plane, you run the plane and get out of here. Although, since I'm playing on Secret Agent, there's one more objective, and that's to destroy this missile battery at the end, this anti-air missile that would essentially stop me from escaping. If you're playing on Double Agent, then there's these two machine gun turrets that you need to destroy. But I don't need to do that here. Also, in this game, there's cheats that you can unlock. The main way to unlock the cheats is to beat certain levels on certain difficulties under a certain amount of time. In fact, the first cheat that most people unlock is the one you get from this level, which is DK mode. You beat this level on Agent difficulty within a few minutes, you unlock it, and that changes your character, all the characters, into deformed characters that look like Donkey Kong. You know, big head, big arms, everything else on its own. And there are several cheats that change the look of characters, and then there also are majority of your run-of-the-mill cheats, like unlimited ammo, unlock all the guns, invincibility, invisibility, which is a real bummer if you have to interact with other characters because they can't see you. Ways to change the speed of the animations, paintball mode, which is where it changes all the bullet holes into splotches of paint. And we're out of here. So that's another mission down. Minute 38. 100% accuracy. Okay, so now we go into this one. You can also input codes with button combinations, but you have to, look those up. And they're only temporary. They end up getting deleted after you quit the game. Okay. It's now out in this wide open, snowy area. And it's levels like this that really show off how big this game can be in terms of the levels that are created. Like, you feel like you're winded, like just running across this field. Blow things up. There we go. Kaboom. Got it here. the grenade launcher that we'll end up getting. Okay, that cabin is locked. I need to find a key to get in there, because that's got the key to the safe. All these guys, they have some nice animations when they die. I believe they were motion captured, and a lot of them are just like falling down, falling down to their knees, or like flopping backwards. You get fun animations, like you can shoot a guy right in the ass and he'll jump up and grab his ass. You can shoot him in the leg and they'll grab their leg, or there's also like these long drawn out death animations. Like you shoot them in the nuts, then it takes them like 15-20 seconds before they finally die. They slowly fall to their knees, they crumple to the ground, writhing in pain, rolling about. It's very, very overdramatic. But hey, it's a Bond movie, you might as well crank up the drama and the flair. Do it with style. If you can't do it with style, it ain't worth doing. And that includes dying. Alright, so now we've powered that down. Now we go to these cabins back here. That's where they're going to have the key to get back in there with the safe. Okay, so there's the safe. Gotta be careful here, because there's the camera. I'm pretty sure, yep, it caught me. I'm all the way the fuck over here and it still caught me. Oh well. Oh, I love this. Look at that car on there. Break the table. Car falls. And it blows up. Because what the hell was in that car? They actually loaded up with gas or something? That's it for here. So now we're gonna have some more guards coming after me. Mostly, I believe, the ones with the club as well as the sniper rifle. But we gotta keep moving. Gotta find where that. Right here, yeah, we did. And I went over there. Did we check in here? Ah, there we go. And there's a safe key. Got it. So now we head back to that one. What do you think, huh? What do you think? Dead. Yeah, definitely a lot to take in. This game was, like I said before, a big seller back in its release year of 1997, 1998. I think even 1999 it was still selling pretty well. So this is before the days of like the Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, definitely before GameCube and Xbox. So you didn't really have that much else to compare it to. Also was a big deal for renting. Back in the days when if you couldn't afford to buy an N64 in the game, you'd rent one out from Blockbuster or whatever. Local rent places would do that. Rent the game and just chill, have a whole weekend. You guys order some pizza, stock up on your Coca-Cola or your Mountain Dew or whatever, and just have a ball. Or if you're old enough, you just go buy yourself like a case of beer or something, just play with your friends, just play all night. And down we go. Like it plays the animation of you going down again. It's like, just in case you missed it the first time, here's your instant replay. Let's see that again. Okay, that takes care of that one. Now let's get through this mission and then we'll wrap up the episode. Still plenty of game to play, so we don't have to rush through it. careful because that guy runs straight for the alarm. Like, I just gotta be careful because there's a security camera right there. Go on. Ow. If you nail the camera right in the lens, then it's an instant death. Instant death. Or not instant death, but like a one-hit kill for it. Got you. So now you come back to this area later in the, later in the game. Because this is still under renovation, like it's still under construction. You come across. Whoop! There's another camera. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Oh, damn it! There we go. I'll take the hits if it means I don't have to worry about the alarm, because the guys that come after you with the alarm, when the alarm goes off, they're tough. They take like 12 to 15 bullets, even of the assault rifle. So this is where I'm supposed to go with Boris. The programmer, Boris Grishenko, played in the movie by Alan Cumming. Played very well. He's actually a pretty good character. Ends up being involved in the plot. His computer expertise helps move the story along. GoldenEye key. Let's do this. Go. And get this guy. Also gotta be careful because if you don't keep an eye on Boris, he runs off. So I think he just did. Yep. No. Get in there. Go on. Oh, I forgot I gotta do this. Take the key analyzer. Now, if you're playing on 00 Agent or above, then there's an additional step where once he gets in, then you have to use the data thief, which is a key card that you came with, and do that. So Boris goes in, he punches in the passcode, which is knockers, which is related to a theme in the movie. Boris plays word games with his passwords, and he shows his co-worker Natalia, who is also introduced to the plot. His first passcode, his hint is they're right in front of you and can open very large doors. And the code is knockers, which is obviously like knockers, you know, like a thing like, you know, that you knock on a big door with. But then also, knockers is of course slang for tits. There we go. Picture that with a Kodak. Get out of here. And his code later on in the movie that he uses to send a spike, which is able to track whoever uses it. And the clue is, oh crap! Did I forget something? Damn it, I did. I left a couple of cameras. I forgot I was supposed to destroy all the security cameras, all of them. So I got to do this again. Anyway, later on, one of his hints is you sit on it, but you can't take it with you. And when he puts in the code at first, you don't see it on the screen, so you don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. But then later on, it becomes kind of like a Deus Ex Machina that Bond and Natalia eventually use to progress the story. I always love that rolling animation, because if you catch somebody doing it and you shoot them, they don't just stop and hit the ground. They finish the animation and then they flop back or whatever. It's kind of fun. Never gets old in a game like this, especially. Yep. I think I'll do better this time around. You and you. Done and dusted. Could I... get this one. Go. I already got that. I think that's all of those, and there's one more over here in the corner. Let me try nailing that. There we go. Mission complete. Ooh, he's got a grenade. Ah! Where do you think you're going, pal? Oh, you guys come from. Okay, so hey, damn it, he ran off. Gonna have to catch up to him, but first, let's do this again. Get that out of the way. And then do the GoldenEye thing. The key. Analyze, and there you go. Sure, they won't mind it just being tossed on the ground haphazardly. Come with me. Not sure if he goes outside, it fails, because I know if I go outside, that's the end of the mission. Alright. Now we go for the long walk. So a nice little break in the action here. For now. At least until the alarm goes off again. So, like, plenty to take in with this game. Like, and it's regarded as one of the better video game adaptations of a Bond film. Granted, there really weren't many of them before. The most you get is something like James Bond: The Duel on Sega Genesis, and I think that was about it. But then after this, you know, it became a hot commodity. Almost every Bond movie afterwards would get one. At least everything from Tomorrow Never Dies onward until The World Is Not Enough. Because after this game, Electronic Arts would get the license for Bond games. And they would do ones based off of Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and then they would do some side games like Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, which are also good games and decent multiplayer ones as well. Before ending with Everything or Nothing, which was up to that point, I think, the last game for that. And then, you know, they did GoldenEye Rogue Agent, which wasn't necessarily like this. It wasn't a remake or anything like that. Just kind of piggybacking off the GoldenEye name. But that's all future history. All right, well, that does it for that. Ha! 420. Did that one in 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Not bad. Okay, so we're ready to go for the next mission, which basically kicks off the events of the movie, you know, after the prologue, you know, after the credits roll and all that. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We've covered a good amount of ground. I think I've exhausted a majority of most of the trivia that I could think of, so probably won't be as talky as I was here in the next few episodes, so yeah. Take it or leave it. Alright, well, yeah, that's it. As always, it's Brian E, aka Mr. Grisms87, saying thank you all for watching, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for playing along, because we are just getting started. Alright, well, y'all take care now, and I will be back.